Live, local, late-breaking. Channel 11 News starts with breaking news.
A man on the run for more than a decade in a standoff with police and the FBI in Verona. Officers told our chopper to leave the area because the man has a high-powered long-range rifle.
And neighbors are being told to leave their homes because the situation there is so dangerous. We have live Team 11 coverage starting with Channel 11's Renee Kaminsky near that scene in Verona. Renee?
Peggy, there is a huge police presence here. I've never seen anything like it. It pays to get here first as far as media is concerned. We have a great vantage point. Let me show you where it is all unfolding. Right up at the 400 block of Center Avenue. You have a great shot of that right now. It's beyond that stone church you see on the right. That is where the home is located. And that is where 30-year-old Frank Perez, according to the FBI, Frank Perez Jr., a dangerous fugitive, is holed up right now. We are hearing that he may have a hostage with him, but we have not been able to confirm that, not yet. I've been talking to neighbors who are telling me they heard multiple gunshots earlier. We have confirmed through the FBI that this is a very dangerous man, Frank Perez Jr., on the run for 12 years. He reportedly has lived in this area for a couple of months. They say he has high-powered weapons, and he actually fired on FBI agents earlier in the day when they tracked him here to Verona and tried to take him into custody. Now, we are told that he fired on agents in Texas 9 years ago, so they are very concerned about officer safety at this point. I've been talking to neighbors for the last couple of hours, and one woman told me why her daughter felt the need to call her and warn her not to come home.
And a friend of hers called her and said, "Don't come to Verona. There is someone on Center Avenue who's got a gun inside a building and is shooting out the door at anybody that's outside."
Now, agents were trying to take him into custody this afternoon just a couple of hours ago. Neighbors are telling us here on the scene that the FBI was actually here yesterday, and when they asked them what they were doing, they said they were conducting a training exercise. We've also found out through our newspaper partner, Tribune Review, that Frank Perez Jr. goes by the name of Pumpkin, that he does have a live-in girlfriend, and oftentimes they are seen on Main Street having pizza and going into the get-go, so they are well known here in this area. But as the FBI assured us, this is a very, very dangerous situation, and they want everyone, if they can, to stay out of the area. Back to you, Dave, in the studio.
Hey, Renee, so we understand now, and we've seen there are roadblocks set up there. Can people get through that area?
Yes, they can drive through on Allegheny River Boulevard. As you can see, traffic is moving, but there's so many police here. Don't even think about going up Center Avenue, because that is stacked and stacked with state police, CERT team, with county SWAT, city SWAT. There are so many really heavily armed officers in this area right now, so it would be best to avoid it. And one other thing, Werner Elementary is on lockdown, so we're talking to parents here who've been told that they cannot come and get their children, and their children are not being released right now. Werner Elementary is up on 1st Street, so that's not too far from the scene. So to keep these children safe, police are keeping them on lockdown for now. We'll keep you posted on the very latest. That is the latest here in Verona. Reporting live, I'm Renee Kaminsky. Back to you.
All right, Renee, and the FBI just gave us some new information about the suspect, Frank Perez, and why he is considered so dangerous. Channel 11's Gordon Lesh is live at their headquarters on the south side. Gordon.
Well, Peggy, FBI agents tell me they are in negotiations right now with the fugitive, trying to get him to surrender. Frank Perez Jr., they say, has a number of weapons in that house, including high-powered weapons, as you mentioned. And they say he fired shots from both the front of the house and from the back of the house at agents today. They tell me he's been living and staying at that house on Center Avenue in Verona for at least a week. Now, the FBI reports that Perez is wanted for murder in Lake County, Indiana in 1999. He's also accused of a kidnapping in Mexico. 9 years ago, he was tracked to Texas. He fired at agents at that time and escaped. As agents surrounded the house today, he fired back, but agents tell me they did not return fire.
To the best of my knowledge right now, no shots have been returned. There's been a remarkable restraint out there, and thankfully no one's been injured at this time. So we're hoping for a quick and favorable resolution where we can bring him in without being hurt.
I'm told a woman and a child live at that house on Center Avenue in Verona, but neither of them were there today. Perez is inside that house by himself, and they are working to negotiate with him right now. Live at FBI headquarters on the South Side, Gordon Lesh, Channel 11 News.
And this situation is keeping neighbors along Center Avenue in Verona on alert. At one point, a number of schools were put into lockdown. Neighbors in that area are also being told to stay inside their homes. We just talked to one man who lives directly across the street, and he can see that standoff from his window.
A gunshot, and then they shot back in, and they were trying to get him out. There's been no activity since then. But I think they shot in. I could see the SUV window broke out. When we looked out the window, they yelled to get back.
We have every available crew in our newsroom working this story for you right now. We'll bring you any updates as they happen. We've got a big development in our breaking story. Police have just arrested the fugitive at the center of a standoff in Verona. Renee Kaminsky is on the scene there. Renee?
Peggy, after 3 hours plus, Frank Perez Jr. is now in police custody. Take a look up the hillside there. All action has come to a halt now. We have confirmed that through the FBI's Jeff Colleen has just told us that Frank Perez Jr., a dangerous fugitive wanted internationally for kidnapping and murder, is now in handcuffs. He is in custody. We're going to come right back in just a couple of minutes, about 5 minutes from now, and show you what it's been like here in Verona, the heart of Verona, over the last few hours. That's Renee Kaminsky live from Verona. Back to you.
Chopper 11, you can see a lot of police there on the scene. Some neighbors were told to get out of their house. We talked to one man who lives right across the street from where that standoff was going on.
I was taken out of the house because they brought people in with sniper rifles, and they told us to get out of the house, and they set up and show up upstairs on the second floor.
And Channel 11 News viewers are sending in photos right from the scene. Here you can see law enforcement blocking off part of the street. And because the situation was so dangerous, the SWAT team was called in. This is one of a number of armored vehicles that made its way to Verona.
We've been talking with the FBI, and here is what we know about the suspect. He is wanted for murder in Lake County, Indiana. That's just outside of Chicago. He's also wanted in Mexico for a kidnapping, and he's accused of firing at police officers in Texas 9 years ago. Now that Perez is in custody, we will move in closer to see what it was like in the house. Also, the FBI is telling Gordon Lesh exactly how this ended. He'll have a live report at 6:15. An update now on the breaking news we've been following in this newscast. A fugitive involved in a standoff with police was just arrested. He's been wanted by the FBI for more than a decade. Channel 11's Gordon Lesh just talked with the FBI about the arrest, and Gordon joins us now with the latest. Good evening.
Peggy, good evening. Yeah, the FBI says the standoff ended peacefully. Agents did not have to go into the house. Frank Perez Jr. surrendered this afternoon. Let's take a look at some video of Perez being taken away by federal agents about a half hour ago. The 30-year-old earlier today fired shots from both the front and back of that house on Center Avenue in Verona. When agents tried to approach this afternoon, agents believe he had been staying there for at least a week after being a fugitive on the run for about 12 years, wanted for a homicide back in 1999. But again, he is now in federal custody.
Mr. Perez walked out of the residence. He's safely in custody. No one was injured in this event. We're very pleased to say that. And it looks like the situation is now resolved.
And agents here tell me that Perez will likely face some new state charges because of today's incident, as well as possible new charges for firing on agents this afternoon in Verona. Eventually, though, he will have a hearing tomorrow morning here in federal court in Pittsburgh, but eventually he is expected to be sent back to Indiana, where he is wanted for a 1999 homicide investigation. Live at FBI headquarters on the South Side, Gordon Lesh, Channel 11 News.
And our partners at the Tribune Review took this picture as FBI agents took Frank Perez Jr. into custody. He's the man in the middle there with the white jacket. You can see SWAT teams heavily armed surrounding him. We have several Channel 11 News crews at FBI headquarters in Verona and following Perez on his way to custody. We will have complete coverage for you tonight on 11 at 11.